Okay, my friends, you're starting out in a child's pose, so big toes are touching. You sit on your heels, and you can take your time walking your hands out away from your knees. And you'd like to rest your forehead on something, you can prop it on your forearms. Maybe you eventually can come all the way down with your forehead on the ground. Take your time here, breathe deeply. Give yourself some time to transition. Find big, expansive inhales. Complete exhales. You have so much time just to explore the fullest expansion and find the boundaries of your breath. I invite you to play with the boundaries of your breath, perhaps hovering at the very top of each inhale to feel your ribs expanding a little more. And after exhaling completely, maybe pause at the bottom of your exhale. Use your strong inward belly muscles to squeeze it all out, all the air out. And take a few rounds of breath, just like this. Big, deep breath, using all of your body, your whole torso muscles squeezing out and in, taking in all the air that you need, and cleaning out all the waste products that you don't need anymore. Feel all the muscles of your back moving, getting warm from the inside. Child's pose is so called because it removes the secondary curves in your spine. So your lumbar curve at your low back is now flattened out and neutralized. Now you can put your hands on it and feel that. Okay. And you were born without this curve. As a matter of fact, this is how your spine was when you were born, kind of rounded like this. And this position that you're in is the first yoga position that you were ever in, okay? You were folded up probably a good bit like this, more than likely, inside your mom. Your cervical curve behind your neck also is somewhat erased here and rounded, where normally it would be more of an arched shape. So allow that to be a really pleasant release on the back of your neck. Breathe into that space behind your neck there. And breathe into all the spaciousness of the low back. Enjoying the first arrangement of your spine, the most natural yoga pose you can make. From here, my friends, start to reach your hands out, kind of walking them away from your hips. Okay, keeping your hips nice and heavy. Try this. Move your knees out away from each other. You can take your time kind of waggling them out there and see if you want to take them kind of far away from each other. And then sink your belly down low, sink your heart down low, and kind of waggle side to side, kind of rolling into one hip, rolling into the other. Make this really nice and slow. Notice any sensations in one hip as you rock into it. Think of really shifting your weight onto one hip, moving your whole upper body in that direction. And you can let your head hang while you do this, or you can think of arching your spine. And then go ahead and bring yourself back through center, okay? We're gonna bring hands back in underneath your shoulders and then press yourself up to hands and knees from here. You can arrange yourself for a moment. Okay, find a nice tabletop position with your shoulders over wrists and your hips over knees. And we want a strong belly, so protect your low back, wrap it up, lifting that belly button up and in. Okay, pretend like there's a resistance band on your elbows and it's pulling your elbows inward toward each other. And you have to create some strength in your arms to resist that resistance band. So keep that inward pulling elbow feeling. And then heart moves forward on the inhale. Pull back on the mat. Lift your heart forward. With your exhale, push the floor away. Round your spine. Drop your head and shake it out. Let's take a few more like that. Roll it forward, inhale. Push away, exhale. So I want you to feel the whole front and back of your spine, even the sides of your spine getting rolled out here. So make it a little bit sideways. Okay, think of more of a jump roping movement. Maybe a couple more, just kind of massaging out all the back and the rib cage. And then bring it on back to a tabletop position, okay? Rocking some extra weight into your left knee. Let's pick up the right knee and start to make big circles with it. However, do your best to keep the right hip level with the left, so you're keeping your tabletop back. So you're feeling the right glute work a little bit. Now let's rewind it. Maybe slow it down a little bit. Really feel the glute working. And now change that action. We're going to allow the right hip to lift while we circle the hip out. Big, ridiculous circles. Nice and slow. Feel the hip moving and rewind it. Okay, send the right knee forward and then pause. Let's drop the right foot by the right hand. Okay, friends, so we're setting up for some lunging, okay? When we want to open up hips and low back and relax, we really can't do much better than a low lunge, okay? That's one of our star postures here. So move the left knee back a little bit and find a lunge that you can be comfortable in. And we just want to take a gentle rocks and rolls here for a moment, rocking back and forward with the hips. Okay, just bringing in some gentle movement, gentle warmth. Make sure to activate your legs at least a little bit while you do this, okay? We want a little activation anytime we lengthen a muscle. Okay, next time that right foot comes back to the floor, let's just pause there. And just enjoy this lunge and sink into it for a little while. So dropping into that left knee and dropping into the right foot. Think of resisting that floor as you breathe and trying to draw the two knees toward each other here. So not only the legs working against the floor, but the hips working to pull the knees inward. And breathe here. Do your best to soften your neck. Maybe let your head hang. We'll take a few more breaths just doing this. So if you'd like, you can come down to your elbow, maybe another elbow. But keep drawing the knees toward each other and pressing the floor down. You want to think of your neck being really long all the time here. One more big breath here in your lizard lunge, okay? Low lunge. Start coming back up on your hands, okay? You have so much time, so come up and out of that. And then we're going to twist it. So rock some extra weight into your left hand. Reach up with your right. So big twist now, looking up at the ceiling. Let's pause here. Again, pushing down into your legs. Pull them toward each other at the same time. Okay, additionally, you're thinking of broadening your chest and reaching up high. You may even cactus the right arm and think of kind of peeling open the armpit. And see if you can find a direction to point your nose that seems natural. Sometimes you have to experiment. Where does the nose want to point? One more nice big breath here in this huge, big, broad, open twist. And let's bring it down, okay? Right hand back underneath the right shoulder. Let's bring this back to hands and knees. Taking the right leg back, find hands and knees. And then tuck your toes. Lift your knees here. If you walk your hands back, you can lift your hips and come to a standing forward fold. Please generously bend your knees here and just sway side to side. Fingertips at least on the floor, maybe palms. So you're just bending into one knee at a time. Please allow yourself the luxury of letting your head hang. Just shake it out. Enjoy letting your big, heavy head hang off of your shoulders and feel this traction in your spine. With your fingertips at least on the floor in front of you, okay? You want to bend your knees nicely. We're going to rock onto the toes now and back to the heels. So take some time, rock forward and back. Feel the legs adapting to this change in position. And then find a nice grounded in both foot feeling, okay? Somewhere in the very center of each foot, you're balancing. And then inhale to roll yourself up. We're going to roll, stacking your vertebrae. Lift your heart. Reach up tall. And exhale here. Let's roll it all the way down. So hinging at your hips, palms down. Let's do it again. Inhale, press into your heels. Roll yourself up. Lift your heart. Again, exhale, hinging your hips, roll it all the way down. Nice and slow. One more time, nice and easy. Inhale, roll it up. Heart lifts, think of peeling open your chest upward. And exhale, bring it down. Palms are down here. Go ahead and walk your hands forward, friends. Find yourself back on hands and knees. So now we'll do the other side just like that, okay? Grounding into your right knee more. Level off your hips, lift that left knee, and we'll start to circle out the left hip. So you still have your tabletop back, still lifting your belly button up and in. Strong back. Maybe slow it down and try to make the circles a little bigger. Let's rewind that. Okay, so a little extra effort in the glute and the outer hip when we have the hip level. Let's try lifting the hip. See how it's different. Lift the hip on your inhale. Swing it around. So notice that right hip has to work now when we do this. Rewind it. Send it back. Big silly circles. Next time the left knee comes forward, pause here. Allow the left foot to step next to your hands, next to that left hand. And you could come up on your fingertips if that helps you to feel nice and long and spacious in your spine. But find a nice place for your right knee, okay? If you'll move it further back away from your front of your mat or your space, your hips will sink lower, so you'll be getting more deeply into your hips. But if you'd prefer to stay more gentle out of your hips and not go too far, then you just move your right knee forward. Okay, so please find what makes more sense for you. But do resist the floor and just start to let the posture do the magic. So in general, it takes about 30 seconds for a posture to begin to really sink in. So continue to breathe here. Keep those legs actively pushing down and drawing inward. Maybe we come to an elbow or two. Breathe here. Push the floor down. Pull the legs in. This is a nice posture to just let your head hang. Okay? But keep that neck long, so shoulders away from ears. Notice how this feels in your low back, the front of your right hip, the back of your left thigh, one more big breath in right here. Lizard lunge. Okay, lizards, crawl back up and out of this. Let's turn it into a twist. So we're keeping the strong legs pressing down, strong legs pulling inward with the hips. Okay, pressing into the right hand, reach up with your left. Okay, and let's pause here, and I will spin around to face you. Keep the pressing down, pulling together, big chest here, pushing out through that right hand. So keep breathing, keep taking up a lot of space here. And maybe you want to broaden and open up in the chest and heart a little bit. You can cactus the left arm and just think of peeling it back. Okay, twisting, open that rib cage. So biggest breath you can. Let's do one more breath, just like that. And bring it down. Okay, let it go. Left hand back underneath your left shoulder. Let's bring it back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, hips up and back. Again, walk your hands back to your feet. And this time, walk your feet a bit wide, okay? Maybe just about wider than your hips are, with your toes turning out slightly. And then take your time starting to drop your hips downward. So you can really take your time. I don't want you to feel any sense of rushing. No rush at all. Feel free to keep your hands on the ground as you feel out how low you'd like your hips to sink. And keep in mind, you can always rest your elbows on your knees if that's a more appropriate option for you, okay? But we're coming down into a squat. Okay, we can call this Malasana, okay? Garland pose. So take some time grounding into those feet. Continue to push down into each heel. Think of lifting up long in your spine and having a big heart. So let's breathe here in Malasana. Really, really, really fantastic release for your low back and your hips. So I'm going to take a little time with you here. Feel free to come out and take a break at any time. I'm going to give you some options. So your first option is to reach this left arm in front and inside of your left knee and grab the floor over on the left. So you can just start there. Notice how you feel about that. And maybe you want to reach the right arm up and away, kind of finding a nice symmetry in your upper body here. And you can use the left arm on the left knee to gently deepen this twist if you choose. Okay, notice how you can do that. You can press the left side together, knee and elbow, to look more up at the right hand. And if that's feeling pretty good, you can drop your right arm across your back and send your left hand behind your back, and they can find each other. Just keep breathing wherever you are. Okay, you might grab your hand today or another lifetime. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, one more big breath here. Pressing into your feet. And then let's bring it back through center, friends. Come back on through. If you need to, you can take a quick break and press up out of it. Sometimes it's nice to lift the hips and take a little break from a squat. Let your upper body hang from your hips. Let your head hang. And then let's come back down into it. Come on down. Let's try the other side, okay? So you can always stay right here at center. I like to think of pressing the palms together and pressing the elbows between the knees, and then an extra challenge to try to move the knees away from the elbows. Really nice opening for your hips. So let's try the right hand out to the right. Grab the floor. The left arm reaches up in a symmetrical gesture. Breathe here, big chest. So you can experiment with using the right arm to push against the right knee to deepen your twist and look up to the left. Stay strong in your legs. Keep breathing. Maybe you join your hands behind your back, holding that right leg. Wherever you are, friends, let's take one more big breath here. And bring it on back to center. Press your hands under your shoulders. Again, slowly dip your head down and lift your hips. And let's shake it out here for a little bit. Let your spine hang. We're going to come down one more time into that squat. So as you're ready, again, drop your hips, lift your head. This time, just walk your hands forward, okay? Just as far as you want to go. Just feel it out, but make sure it feels nice. And then I want you to feel like you're pulling your hips back away from your hands. So you're grabbing the floor, pulling your hips back. Hold right here and breathe. Notice how this feels in your low back. It should feel great, okay? Not bad, it should feel really good. And then really let the neck get long as you lift your belly up and back. One more big breath right here. Big hip opening, big low back release. And then start to let this go. Walk your hands back up and in, underneath your shoulders. One more time. Lift your hips, drop your head, and shake it out. From here, palms on the floor, okay? Just shimmy your feet out away from each other. Shimmy them out until your feet are about as far apart as your legs are, as one of your legs is long. So your feet are a leg length apart, okay, if that makes sense. And your hands are under your shoulders. So your spine can be nice and long here. So here you are in Prasarita Padottanasana. And if you want to, you can, of course, take your feet wider or narrower or bend your knees if you ever need to, okay? But I just want to twist a little bit from here and kind of realign and massage your spine. So grounding into your left hand, press into that left hand. Inhale here, reach up with your right. Another big twisting shape. And exhale, drop that right hand. Switching sides. Inhale, lift up with the left, look up. Exhale, bring it down. So let's do this a few more times, okay? Just find a rhythm. Okay, as you twist, think of always pointing your tailbone directly away from the top of your head so that your spine stays as long as possible without bowing to one side. Okay, notice that. Notice also that the shoulders are both active. So the bottom shoulder never goes slack. Okay, notice how that feels. Okay, next time you are up, whatever hand is up is perfect. Hold it. Hold it right there. Activate both shoulders and twist and breathe. Think of how long your spine is. Point your tailbone away from your head. One more big breath here. And then switch sides. Just come down with the up hand. Come up with the down hand. Hold and breathe. Breathe here into your right side of your chest, lengthening your spine. One more. And let it go. Drop that right hand here. And then from here, friends, shimmy your feet back in toward each other. You can really bend your knees here. And now that we've really warmed and opened the legs and the hips, okay, let's try just taking a nice forward fold. So bend your knees as generously as you like, but you can just hug the backs of your calves here. Think of gently drawing your legs towards you. Truly letting your upper body round over your knees. And you can bend your knees a whole lot if you want. If the backs of your legs are feeling pretty open and you're feeling spacious here, you can start to extend your knees, but you want to keep your shoulders very close to your knees. Feel that nice stretch all across the back side of your body. One more big breath here. Release that. Go ahead and bend your knees. Drop to your hips here. Then you can lean back on your hands and shake out your legs. Okay, we did some nice work in the hips today, in the low back. We created some good warmth and mobility. Nice work, friends. After a few windshield wipers, pause when your knees point up, and you can grab behind your knees and just rock it all the way down. See if you can take it slow. Come down here, give those legs a squeeze in towards your chest. Good work, self. All right, now let's get a nice little twist in to recalibrate the spine. So you can make cactus arms here just to keep your upper body stable. Okay, drop your feet and then move your hips a little bit to the left. Just pick them up and move them there. Then you can drop your knees more fluidly to the right. We'll take some time in this little twist. Looking over at that left elbow. Big inhales, lifting your chest. Big exhales. Take some time here. Finding long, slow breath. See if you could find a huge lifting feeling in the sternum and a really grounding feeling in the belly button. About one more long, slow breath here. Let's bring it back through center. So wave the knees back through. Okay. So now we want to move the hips over to the right. So pick them up, move them over to the right, and then the knees drop more easily to the left. Okay. Looking over at that right elbow now. Give yourself time to settle into this twist. Allow the body to kind of soften in. And then start to activate just enough to lift in the sternum a bit and strengthen the belly button inward a bit. Close your eyes. Allow your body to really cool down here. Wringing out your whole back and torso, massaging your organs. Last breath here. Come on back to center, friends. And from here, bring your knees inward towards your chest and reach through between your knees. One hand to each shin. And you can start to just draw your knees downward very gently, just encouraging the knees to go down toward the ground. And as you do that, think of lifting your sternum up toward the ceiling And that should feel nice in your chest, okay? Nice lifted chest. So knees down, heart up, and just start to rock here. You feel like you can kind of pull on each shin to roll into each hip really nicely, kind of playful, okay, kind of silly. And if this is feeling okay, you can walk your hands up to your elbow or to your ankles and do the same thing. If that feels great, go ahead and grab the outsides of your feet and do the same thing. Lift that chest. Okay, maybe start to extend one knee at a time more than the other. So thinking of opening up one knee, opening up the other. Take your time just playing with that. Maybe eventually you decide for the full happy baby posture, okay, you can have both knees bent at about a right angle, and you're dropping the knees down as you lift up with your heart. So this should feel nice in your hips, okay? Should always feel nice, never bad. Okay, you can continue to rock playfully, or you can find stillness. And just take a few more breaths here. Any tension that remains in your low back or your chest is melting out right now. And then finally, draw your feet toward each other, the two soles of the feet together. And you can wrap your hands around your toes or the edges of your feet and just draw and kind of hug the feet inward towards your heart. And take a little time here, drawing those feet in, lifting your chest. Breathe. You can really experiment with moving the knees away from you if you like, or drawing them towards you to make it more gentle. So play around with that spectrum. Knees away. Notice how it feels in your hips. Lift that heart though. One more big breath here. Release your feet. Okay. Expand your legs out onto the floor. Let your hands drop beside you and find your resting posture. And here's where you get to finally completely let go and just be. Having moved your body very intentionally and very lovingly and trained healthy movement patterns, training healthy breathing patterns, now you can rest and let your body assimilate all these experiences in peace. Allow your awareness to rest fully on your breath and your body. If you notice your thoughts in the background, that's okay. You are fully aware of your breath and your body. Notice all the little sensations and sounds. Everything that is happening right now. So please give yourself as long as you can to rest just like this, okay? The longer the better. This is where I'll leave you today. Thanks so much for joining me.